Hi, everyone. In this class today, we're going to talk about the REST data connector or data connection in Qlik Cloud. Okay, so what are the properties, how we can represent the REST API connection in Qlik Cloud? Okay, so what is the REST connection, right? What it does? So why is this required? So the REST connector, it's where you put the HTTP method. So if it be a get or post, so Qlik support only those two. The URL, also timeout, things like timeout, the authentication, the pagination methods, the headers, both query and head parameters. So everything that you need to execute a REST API call, okay? So you encapsulate, the data connection encapsulates everything in one single place, all right? Okay, so how can I create it, all right? So let's go here in Qlik, in my Qlik Cloud tenant. So I'm going to create here a new space called, let me go here, space, a shared space called consuming REST APIs with Qlik Cloud, okay, to create. So just to store everything here and keep in one single space. Then you can go in multiple ways, right? You can go here and create new data connection, or you can also go to space settings and do a connection. So I'll go here just to be different a little bit. So I go here to data connections. So there is nothing here. If I click on add connection, then you just type REST. So you see we have the REST data connector. This is the one that I'm looking for. And in case you have a REST API in an on-prem data server, or a connection, a REST connection that needs to go through a VPN, you can use direct access gateway. So gateway not be covered here, but gateway is just a bridge between Qlik Cloud and your on-prem environment. So for today class, we're going to use the regular REST connection. So, and when we click here, we see all the connections of the all the properties of the data connection. And at this stage here, this will be very similar to the options or the properties that we have inside inside the Postman, right? The things that we have used before, okay? So in just navigating here a little bit, you see the URL, the connection timeout, read, write timeout. So the method, here you can see get or post, and you have many other options. So there's a lot of options here, but essentially you just need a few parameters. So it's not a lot of things to set up. So let's go back to the presentation. Okay. So, all right. So let's see what's the next. The URL and method, right? So this is pretty much the core thing that you need. So in our case, it would be the method get, and the URL, as again, is the base URL, api-stripe.com, plus the version, plus the resource, okay? So this would be pretty much copy and pasting what we have inside the Postman. The method, so this is very important, and keep in mind, usually to load data, we always use get. Sometimes we can use post, so be careful. Pay attention to your documentation. So, and Qlik supports only get and post, right? The patch, put, delete, and the other methods are not supported. You cannot overwrite that at all. So at least not while we are today's. Nowadays, it's not possible. Okay. Okay. So those are the two fields that we need for now. So the URL and the method, okay? And let's go back there. Go here. So we have, so in our case, I would just go here to Postman. So this is the connection I have. I just clean up a little bit. So the URL is this. By the way, I will just uncheck the parameter so you don't see here in the URL. So this is the raw, like the raw URL. So the basic stuff you need. So I can copy that, go here, paste it, right? So this is the very first thing you need. And the method will be get, right? The same one that we have here, get. Then you have post and the others, okay? So a next tab will be about the authentication. So if I go back here to the authentication, let's go back, let's move forward. So the authentication in this case will be the bearer token, okay? But again, this is the simplest one. This is the one that I like the most because it's easy to implement. And depending on the platform, the token can list forever. So you don't have to change it all the time. So it's quite easy. So to set up this one here, we need to add the header. So we need a new header, and the name of the header will be authorization, and the value will be again bearer space and the token that you get from Stripe. And this is pretty much how you do it. So we go to the connection dialog, and then we have the query. We have this section where to add the headers. Then we add a new header if it's not there, a line. So you add authorization and the bearer space, the token. Okay. One important thing is usually not recommended to save the API key in your load script. If you do it, or other users will have access to it. So this is not desired in most part of time. So you can save the bearer, your token inside the connection, and when the next user, if someone else has access to edit the code, you won't see your token. Qlik just hides it. And now in a recent change, you can also encrypt the token, so people won't be able to see your token there. Okay, so this would be just to connect to your Stripe, but the other methods like auth we're going to see in the next episode. So this one is just to check the data connection properties. So we'll be talking about authentication in depth in the episode 4. This is just to show the properties again. So then if I go back there to the connection, so I'll go here. I need the new header to do the connection. So I go headers, then I copy this name. So this is the name, this is the value. In Postman they call key, okay? Usually they call key. And then if we scroll down all the way, you have additional request parameters. So here you have the query parameters where you have to set you can set the limit, for example, and also the query headers. So in our case, it would be authorization, bearer. Let me remove the encrypt, bearer space, and then in my case here, see I have bearer and the token, but the token is inside the variable. So I go here to my core resources, variables. I will copy the value here, okay? And I go back here, paste the value. That's it. And then you click encrypt. You can click it, but Qlik will not display anyway. And then you give a name to this connection. So you call get customers. That's usually how I call it. So I call get in the resource, or you can just put get Stripe or Stripe get records in case you want to reuse this method, this connection to do other stuff, not just to return the customers, but the other properties. For now, I will say get customers only, okay? But again, you can change this over time, okay? If we're going to talk about this next. The next parameters that we have, you be the query parameters, okay? How usually query parameters are used to filter data. Also, the body can be used to filter the data. In this case, when you have a post method. But for simple things, when the REST API supports, you can use the query parameters to filter the data or limit how much data are returned during the HTTP request. So I use this one to add the limit. Limit is the top X number of records returned. And always keep in mind, when you add query parameters, you can see in the URL. So this is public, so you can expose that. So it's easy to see what you're sending. And the header parameters are similar. They are always like key pair things, but the headers goes behind the scenes, so you don't see it unless you know how to enter in the browser to see what's going behind the HTTP requests. So this is more like a developer stuff, or if you're curious, your browser can expose that. Sometimes you need to use that to see what's going on behind the scenes. You just need to go to the browser developer mode to see how it works. Okay. So let's go back there again. And so in our case, the parameters, the one that we have is the limit. Okay. So I'll go here. Then we have query parameters limit. And then you add a value here. I will just add 10. Okay. And finally, one of the coolest ones is the allow with connection. So allow with connection, I always recommend to set this one, and including for regular data connections like database connections, always keep that check. So what it does, you can during your load script override some of those values. So let's say you want to change the limit to something else, or you'd like to set a filter dynamically, or you even change the URL. So you can change the URL to get instead of customers, you get employees data. So you don't need to set up one endpoint, one data connection for each endpoint you have for your REST API. So always keep that check. I don't think there's any negative aspect about allow the connection, unless you want to make it really restrict what this data connection is about. So I see no problem on always checking this allow with connection. So, and by the way, to do dynamic alpha authentication, you need that. And also to do some complex pagination, you also need the allow with connection, because you need to override some of the values. And it's only possible when you do this, okay? We're going to talk about this one. I think it will be on episode 4 or 7, okay? So, and then you can, after that, you can test your connection. So this one is quite simple, right? See that we have an option to do pagination here, but we are not going to talk about pagination now. So for now, this connection is only returning 10 records. So I have 20 customers. So this will only return 10. No matter what you do, you will only get the first page, okay? And finally, you can create. And then you see your connection here. So now, like any other data connection, you can use this connection to get your data in any Qlik project, okay? As you just need access to the space, all right? So let's go back to the presentation. And okay, so then this is the allow with connection, right? So allow with connection is just to now allow dynamic customization of your connection properties. This is really important. Actually, this is probably the fundamental check that we need to do complex pagination and OAuth authentication. Okay, and then finally, just about testing. So if you have any problem during the setup, if you did something wrong, when you test the connection, it will return an error, and then you check your properties. So keep in mind that you already have tested your settings in Postman, so you know that's working. Make sure you did the same with your data connection in Qlik Cloud. So you're not missing any parameter if you're not pasting anything wrong, because you know it's working, right? So, and if not working at all, maybe something on the Qlik side that's blocking you, or you're having any problem on Qlik side. Okay. Okay. So this class here was a short one, and it was just about the data connection. So how you can create a data connection, how what are the properties, how you can set it, and how you can test and save. Okay. So what is not included here is the we haven't talked about is the OAuth authentication, basic authentication. Pretty much we don't use basic authentication anymore. It's like a user and password, and the complex token refreshes, that's part of the OAuth authentication. So we're going to see more about that on episode 4. Okay, is the next one. And pagination, also, I'm not including this one, but pagination we are going to handle the pagination in episodes 6 and 7. Okay, so everything that we see here today, it's enough just to connect to the data, to the REST API, and start seeing some data. Okay, that's all you need for now. Just the summary of we saw today. So how we can create a REST connection in Qlik Cloud. So it's simple, right? Go to a space, create new connection, and then you select the REST. So you have REST data gateway and the regular REST. So for our course, our class, we're going to use the regular REST connection. So we have the URL plus the HTTP method. In this case, for today's class was the GET. How to set the authentication. So you go to the header, add the authorization header with the bearer token. Query parameters is the limit with the number 10, so 10 records, and then test and save the connection. Okay, so authentication, you're going to see more about that in the next episode. So then you're going to see in details how to work with different types of authentication in Qlik Cloud. This can be challenging, but I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thank you.